Hello everybody! Today I want to talk about digital minimalism and more specifically about my phone. I just want to make a video where I share my thoughts on how I try to make sure that my phone is actually adding value to my life instead of being a stressful device that takes time and energy away from me. If you're new here, my name is Leah. I'm uploading videos twice a week about mostly minimalism at that point. So if you're interested in that topic, subscribe to my channel. And now let's get started. So I do not have an iPhone, which is a normal thing in Europe. I know in America and also, for example, in Switzerland, where I was born and grew up, a lot of people have iPhones. I mean, not when I was born, but later when I was a teenager. But in Germany or in other countries in Europe, some people have iPhones, some people have other kinds of smartphones. So my phone is a shift phone, which is a sustainable phone. The people try to make sure that everything is as sustainably sourced as possible, and also I can change different parts of my phone. So if something breaks, I can just exchange that part, so I don't have to buy an entirely new phone. But it has Android, so it's similar to a lot of other smartphones that are not iPhone. The things I want to talk about today are the apps I keep on my phone, how I spend time on my phone, and how I just manage files on my phone. So at the moment I have about 50 apps on my phone. These are all apps that, one, you can't uninstall, things that I need to keep on my phone for bank accounts and things to access certain things I need. For example, also train apps or public transport, just the apps you need to have on your phone or that I need for my life. And then I have some apps that are like social media, a cycle tracker, or a gratitude app I have installed just recently. Just some things that I try out right now or that I like to keep on my phone and that are adding value. Depending on what I do, if I'm just going on a trip or if I'm staying home, if I'm working on a certain area, if I want to try something new, these apps change. And I try to make sure to go through these apps from time to time to just uninstall what I don't need. Now with my phone, it's very practical because I just have everything I normally need on my home screen. And then there's if you swipe up, you have a folder of everything else. And now because it's only 50 apps, it's easy to keep track. It's easy to find everything that I rarely need. So I do have access to the things in 5 seconds, even though it's all the apps in one place. What I forgot to mention before is that I turn off push notifications for almost all of my apps. So I only have push notifications for messaging apps where I actually want to be notified when somebody sends me a message. For all the other apps, maybe email as well. But for all the social media apps, I turn off the push notifications because I don't want to get all of these messages when somebody likes or sees or shares or anything like that, because I think that would be really distracting and that would take up so much more time than how I'm handling it right now. A lot of times I also just put my phone on silence or on airplane mode when I want to work for a while or just not be distracted. A few years ago, I never really had the courage to do that, or I always thought, oh, what if something important comes through right now? But I realized that it is much more important that I can decide when I want to be notified, called, or anything like that, because if I am available to everybody all the time, I will never be able to focus on myself and just do what I want to do. Smartphones can be very distracting, but if you can shut these things off and if you can keep yourself from always reaching for your smartphone, it is a good thing to have. Now moving on to the time I spend on my smartphone. Most of it is not very productive, I think. Some of it is, of course. I mean, if I'm working on YouTube videos, if I'm taking notes, if I'm preparing Instagram posts, I would consider that to be somewhat productive. But on the other hand, of course, I do spend a lot of time doing things that are not productive. Now, when it comes to the time I spend on my phone, I think it is a lot more than I want it to be. And most of it, I admit it, is unproductive. I don't exactly know how much time I spend on my phone. Again, because I don't have an iPhone, because I don't think my phone tracks the time I spend on it. I could for sure install an app, but I don't think that would like make me happier. So I just try to balance it somewhat. I will spend time on my phone, but I make sure that it's not all day long. For the unproductive part, I don't think it's a huge problem as long as it's not mindless scrolling for hours, and as long as it's not like making me feel angry or sad or just bad in any way. So as long as it's inspiring time, as long as I'm like engaging with people, as long as it's social media maybe in its good part, I am okay with spending time on my phone. But I do realize also that if I spend too much time, it's usually just me like scrolling and then looking up and thinking, wow, where has this last like hour gone? I've done nothing. I'm feeling bad for not doing anything for the past hour. Now that doesn't happen a lot because I have a 6-year-old son. I try to limit it, but also I don't at the same time, because I don't think it would be good for me, try to limit it at any cost, to like put too much energy into being angry with myself because I spend too much time on my phone. Now for all the files and things we have on our phones, I don't have music, I don't have like videos or downloaded things, but I do have pictures on my phone. And these are pictures I've taken with my phone, pictures people have sent me, or pictures I've taken with my camera, edited in my computer, put on my phone to upload to Instagram. I think it is more than absolutely necessary, but I try to go through them on a regular basis, especially the photos that have been sent to me, because usually I really don't care about these because it's things that somebody sent me on WhatsApp that are like not a nice picture of something we did together or even of them, but some memes or things like that, and I just delete them because yeah, maybe they're funny, but I don't need to keep them on my phone. And the pictures I take on my phone, I try to go through them as well, just whenever, for example, I have some spare time. I mean, I don't know if you know how mobile phone contracts are in Germany, but in Germany you pay a lot of money to get a lot of like mobile internet. So I don't have a lot of that. So usually when I'm out and about, I try to not use Instagram or on YouTube, because that would use up so much data that I would be out of data in like a few days. And I have like a certain amount per month. So for example, going through my photos is a good thing to do without using up the internet. I back up my photos that I take on my phone sometimes, but I have to admit that the photos I take on my phone are not the important ones. Now my camera is okay, but it's not a good one. And since I have a DSLR where I take most of my pictures and where I film my YouTube videos on, that is the camera I take the pictures, the important pictures on. Of course there are some cute snapshots and I try to save them and I try to keep them and not lose them. So I'll back them up on my computer, then I back them up in my backup system. But on my phone, I don't really need to keep them. So I try to go through these files and like especially photos and delete whatever I don't need. Now I think my phone has enough storage. I actually really don't know. But it has never been an issue. It has always been enough space. But still I want to be able to find my stuff. The most important part to me is that my smartphone adds value to my life instead of just taking time and energy. Now, it is for sure time consuming at some point, and it is not always productive. But I'm okay with that because I don't think my life is about being productive all the time. And I think I get more out of being in nature than watching my smartphone screen. But I also think it's okay to sometimes just scroll social media. And I have to say, I have spent a lot of time on YouTube, I have spent a lot of time on Instagram, and there have been so many things that inspired me a lot. There have been so many things that have like taught me something, that are really inspiring and uplifting and making me a better person in the end. I think this online community that we have when it comes to minimalist living and being eco-friendly is amazing, and I like it, and I really like to like spend time on my phone engaging with that community. And of course, it's not real relationships like we have them when we really know the person, when it's both ways, when we can like meet up and hug each other, but still I think it's a valuable community because a lot of people don't have a lot of physical friends around them that have a lot of similar interests. And so it is a really good thing to have the opportunity of this online community to just share and learn things that are interesting to me and other people that have similar values in life. My smartphone is something I really like. It's something that I take almost everywhere, that I try to not be addicted to too much. But I admit, I think my life is better with my smartphone. Also because there are so many apps that are just very, very useful, especially when I'm like traveling or somewhere where I don't know the surroundings. I can figure out so many things. I can Google everything I want to. I like my smartphone. And I think that is what makes it a thing worth keeping or worth having. So I really want to have my smartphone. I'm happy with it. I'm sometimes spending a bit too much time on it, but I try to really make sure that it is positive time I spend on my smartphone. Now I would be really interested in knowing what you think about technology and your smartphones in general, and how you manage the time you spend on them, if you even think about that, or if you just use it however feels right to you. Let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more videos, check out these right here, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!